Hi guys, welcome back to another exciting video. Today we're going to be checking out this video from Mac and Blair Family Adventures. It's titled 4 Things We Love Living in the UK, Americans in the UK. I don't think I've ever seen something like this, but I've seen videos where people compared things the UK do better than the US, but we've never seen like somebody actually talk about I've never done a video where someone actually talked about the experiences living in the UK. So they are Americans and they are living in the UK, so he's going to be talking about his experience. I cannot wait to watch this. My name is Oge. Welcome to the channel. If it's your first time here, so happy to have you here. Hi, do well to like, share, subscribe, turn on post notification bell. Drop in the comment section what you think about this, especially if you're an American living in the UK, or you're an American, or you're whatever, you have lived in the UK, you would want to talk about an experience that you have learned living in the UK. Please indulge us in the comment section. Let's dive straight into this video.
Hi, I hope you're having a lovely day. My day is going great. The weather's nice. It's a little cool today. I have on my jacket. And so I'm just sitting outside and I'm just enjoying the weather, the birds, the whole outdoor experience today. It's really good. So my name is Mac, and about 8 months ago, my family and we moved from the United States to the UK. My wife and I both have jobs here. Our kids are enrolled in school, and we're just really settling in as British residents, and so we're really enjoying it. And I wanted to take a moment to talk about 4 things that I really like about living here in Great Britain. And the first thing on that list is the bread. I know you may have heard that before, but the bread in the US is not great. It's functional. I mean, you can take it, you can put a piece down, you can put some things on it, and you put your other piece. And it's more of a transport mechanism to get the flavor and the food from the food into your mouth, right? The bread itself is a transport mechanism. It's not something that is imparting flavor into the dish or the sandwich or whatever you're eating right? The bread doesn't really add much to it. It's just kind of there. Not so here with the bread here in the UK. My kids really enjoy the bread. They really love it. They eat sandwiches with gusto, so to speak. And so they would just kind of really have a good time with enjoying the bread. The flavors are just so good. We really appreciate it. The next thing that I really like about being here is still food related, and that is going to be the cheese. Recently, I had an opportunity to get some cheese from the United States, and I ate it, and I couldn't even taste it. It was so bland. It just didn't have any flavor. It had no kick, no punch, nothing to it to make you be like, this is cheese. However, when we eat cheese here in the UK, it's just really good, really flavorful. We've really grown to like it. We will only buy, certain brands. We really enjoy those cheeses, and we have a good time eating them. So the first 2 things that I really like about living here are both food related. And since we're talking about food, I'll go in and throw in a bonus on my little list, which is going to be the fish and chips. I've done a whole video where I talk about the fish and chips, which is totally new. Before I lived here, of course, I've had fried fish before, but not fried cod. And so the cod and the haddock and some of the other types of fish that you could get from the fish shops, those are really good. So we really enjoy that as well. So if we're going to talk about food, I have to talk about the fish and chips. That's what I've enjoyed in England. Hopefully soon I'll get an opportunity to travel up to Scotland, and I'm looking forward to trying some of the food, some of the more classic Scottish dishes, and then I get an opportunity to get to Wales. I want to try some of that as well. But right now, it's the English food, and it's also the fish and chips. So those are some of the things that I really enjoy. But moving away from the table and kind of moving into the car is I actually enjoy driving here. Once you kind of get to know the rules of the road, you can really appreciate it. One quick example is in the United States, when you're driving and you come up to a red light, you stop. But depending on the circumstances, you can still turn. You can go and it's weird. I'm sorry. I'm outside. I'm in nature. So there are like birds and geese making all kind of noises in the background, and I thought it was a person or something. I didn't know what that was, but I think it's just a bird. Okay. The nature here is really cool. The place where I live at here is really nice. There are birds all over the place. There are bunnies. I've never seen so many bunny rabbits, and I understand now where Peter Rabbit came from, but I've never seen so many rabbits. Not so many frogs though. I've only seen 1 frog since I've been here. I digress. Let me get back on topic. And I was talking about driving, and I was talking about specifically stopping at a red light. So when you stop at a red light, depending on the circumstances, you can't make a right turn legally in the US. Here in the UK, it's pretty simple. When you hit a red light, you stop. That's it. If it's a red light, you stop. When the light turns yellow and green, you can go. Until that happens, you stop. So that's something, just a quick example of the driving and how it's easier here than in the States. You don't have to do that extra thinking about, can I turn on this red light? Is it allowed in this circumstance? Nope. Red light, you stop. And actually staying with the theme of driving, another thing that I really enjoy about living here is the lack of stress specifically related to driving and commuting. I lived 17 years in the Washington, D.C. area, in the DMV, which stands for D.C., Virginia, Maryland. And I lived in D.C., I lived in Maryland, and I lived in Virginia during that period. I moved around, but the commute is so horrendous. For the last 6 years that I lived there, I had a 55-mile one-way commute in the morning. My job was 55 miles from home. I had to drive up a very long 4-lane highway, hit the beltway, circle around the district, and kind of head out another 30 minutes or so after that. So my drive in the morning was about an hour and 15 to an hour and 30 minutes. The overall drive, like going and coming, was 110 miles a day, and I was losing about 3 hours a day just on the commute. And I did that for 6 years. So get here. Living in the UK, I live in England here in the Midlands. My commute is much shorter, much more pleasurable, much more enjoyable. I don't lose all that time. It's not all the stop and go traffic. So I really enjoy that. I really appreciate having a better commute, and that improves my better and overall quality of life. And so that would be the last thing that I would say I really enjoy, is that I find the UK to be a very pleasant place to be as far as stress. I'm not stressed here. I don't feel the same amount of stress that I felt in the United States. It's just not weighing on me as heavily. And I've asked my wife about this, and she said the same thing. She just doesn't feel as much stress as we both felt in the United States. And so that in itself is worth the reason to move, that alone, to be able to get away from stress. Stress kills, right? And so we don't want that to happen. And those are the things that we really enjoy about living here in the UK, that we really look forward to when we wake up in the morning. An easier commute. When we're going out to eat, we enjoy the fish and chips, we enjoy the cheese, the breads. Oh, and I didn't even mention the pastries. I know, I'm a bit of a foodie, but the pastries here are phenomenal. They're really great. Better than almost any pastries you can get in the United States. There are a few home-cooked cakes and pies. Of course, apple pie in the States is on par, but just the pastries here are really a level above. And so those are just things that I really enjoy. I have been here about 8 months, and that's kind of been my experience thus far. I'll probably roll up another one of these at about a year. My wife and I sit down and we'll talk about, what we think and what that 1 year mark has been like for us. And but up until this point, it's been good. Food, good. Driving, easier. And stress, lower. Right? That summarizes it. So, thank you, and until the next time, take care.
Do you guys think, I think he said he's been in the UK for 6 months. So do you think it's too early for him to actually say these things? Because I feel like a lot of people have different testimonies talking about how stressless it is working in the UK compared to the US. I thought they said people in the UK don't rest, that they work a lot. Like it's a lot of work. Like people work so much in the UK. I feel like his testimony is totally different, yeah, for someone who just came. But I don't think 6 months is too short. I feel like 6 months isn't. I think it's enough time for him to actually talk about the things he loves living in. And if he says it's stressful, maybe I think it's a personal thing. Now it now depends on where he lives. It depends on what work he does, yeah, and all of that. So if you put all of this together, it will determine your experience, because there are some people whose experience might be totally different from his. I feel like, yeah, there are people whose experience might be totally different from his, or even have better experiences. But yeah, this is his own personal experience. But it's lovely to see a family actually coming out to talk about this, what they love living in the UK, as Americans living in the UK. Another thing he mentioned was the driving. What do you guys think about the driving? Especially people that have lived in both countries. What do you guys think about the driving? Is it easier driving in the UK compared to driving in the US? Another thing I think, why I say again, is his personal experience, because I feel like people do driving tests in the UK and they fail. Oh my gosh, people fail. Like, you actually do driving tests. Tell you how hard it is. Maybe after you've passed that stage where you are driving, like he said, it is easier. You understand the road better. Maybe, or maybe it could be his own experience. Because what I heard was that it's difficult driving in the UK. What I've heard, but if he says it's easy for him, I mean, he lives in both countries, so yeah. Another thing he also mentioned was the food. Oh my god, I wasn't expecting him to talk about food first, but he talked about the food first. And he said that the bread and then the cheese, you guys will have to tell us in the comment section, what do you guys think about the bread in the UK and the bread in the US? I've never eaten bread in the US before, so I cannot say, okay? But bread in the UK is nice. Has a lot of flavor, it is nice. Cheese, I think the cheese in the UK is nice. But I will not say if it is better because I've not had any of those from the US. I've never lived in the US. So you guys will be the ones to be the judge of it, because I feel like his experience is a bit very nice. He sounded like the UK is like one paradise, like it's one paradise. Yeah, like it's a land of milk and honey. Yeah, that's what he's making it sound like. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have their own personal experience. But let's know in the comment section, what do you think about the bread in the UK and the US? Because that was like the first time. I wasn't expecting to say that. He said the bread in the UK is better than the bread in the US. Hey! He also said the cheese in the UK is better than cheese in the US. Hey, he also said their fish and chips. He mentioned food. Anyway, let's know what you guys think in the comment section before I check out. My name is Oge. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on post notification bell. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.